Happy New Year! In today's video, we are going to look at my numbers for the year of 2023 with my Amazon FBA business, as I do pretty much every month, but this month is special because we are going to do a review for the whole year, not just the past month. I'm going to tell you exactly what worked for me, what did not work, and and what I'm going to do to improve my business next year. So, if you really want to know, once again, by the way, if you really want to know how much money I made exactly, some engagement bait, you're going to need to watch all the previous video for the year and add everything up. I'm not going to give you the exact number. If you want to know, do this. It's going to make me 12 more views per person that actually want to do this. So, quite easy to do. Do some math. But yeah, let's just look at my number. I'm just going to tell you my numbers and basically. So, this past year, in 2023, in comparison to 2022, my business increased by 154%, which means that my revenue increased by by 2.5 times, okay? Pretty much. So, knowing this, my profit margins were around 22%, and I'm going to tell you exactly how, because these profit margins are quite high for online arbitrage, and I'm going to tell you how I was able to reach those profit margins and how you can do it yourself if you want to. So I shared this a lot. At the beginning of the year, I was selling a lot of beauty products, but I was doing something really specific. During Q4 in 2022, I bought a ton of products from Clinic that came into bundles, okay? And those products were, and I shared this a lot. I dropped a lot of hints in my sourcing videos, especially when I was talking about beauty products. I've always been saying, if you want to source beauty products and make it profitable, look at the bundles, okay? And the way I was able to, because there's a couple of reasons why those products are going to be great. First of all, they are hugely profitable because when you buy products in bundle, they are usually hugely discounted, okay? That's the first thing. And second thing, most people that actually source those products, whether they are actually reverse sourcing your storefront, using tools such as tactical arbitrage to scan website, tactical expander, all that stuff, they are not going to find match for the products if they do not look into bundle and into what are actually in bundle. So it gives you a moat around those products. Now, the great thing as well is that people selling these products, it gives you some sort of competitive advantage on people actually working with the prep center, because the fees, if you work with a prep center to prep those items, are not going to be worth it. Let's say you buy a bundle, okay? You buy a bundle. The products that you're going to sell from those bundles are usually super cheap. It was the case with Clinic. And so, if you buy a bundle, like it's going to be 6 units. For every single unit, you're going to pay $150 or $125 to prep the unit. It's going to be a lot of money. And those products usually are not above the selling point, the buy cost, at which using a prep center, you actually break even in the prep fee, with the prep fee. So this is where I made a lot of my money, and I was able to have return on investment on average around 70 to 80% return on investment. I made a ton of money with those. Not only that, but I was using Afterpay. I do not remember if it's Afterpay or Klarna on Clinic. And so by the time, like, if you do not know those tools, they actually allow you to pay in 4 with 0 fee. And so you can split your payment in 4. I was buying like thousands of dollars. I was making $1,000 order at the time, and so instead of paying $1,000 for my inventory, I was paying $250, okay, with the first payment. And right now, if I want to use it, I pay $0 down, and I actually start paying in 2 weeks. I make the first payment in 2 weeks, but at that time, I was not able to do this. So the thing with this is that I was able to sell out of my inventory most of the time before I actually made the second or the third payment. So it actually allowed me to scale fast that time. But I bought a ton of these during Q4. I think you could still buy them during Q1, and I sold a ton of those. I think I sold them until March. I made a ton of money with those. They were hugely profitable, and most of my money was made with bundles. As I said, they fall into a category in which people that are more advanced with online arbitrage are not going to look at, because it's not worth their time, and it's not going to be profitable if you work with a prep center and if you do not prep yourself. So because of that, this is what helped me make a lot of money at the beginning of the year. And if you do not know, I pretty much had 3 big period during the year 2023 in which I switched my strategy. So the first one was when I was prepping everything myself. I was selling a lot of fast-selling, a lot of cheap products that made good profit, that had good profit margins, and it was great. The money was great, and this is the part of the year in which I made most of my money. Not, I think it was until March. Yeah, I made a lot of money, and like the second part as well. But yeah, like basically most of my revenue was made from Q1 to like from January to June until I started traveling, and so the thing is that, you know, it was great money, but it was starting to get a lot of work, especially as you get towards $40,000 a month. It was a lot. It was a ton of work. And so that was the first part of the year. The second part of my year was when I actually started working with a prep center, and things actually slowed down for a little, then went back up to the same level. But the thing is that you need to change your strategy when you work with a prep center. You need to start looking at other products, and this is what actually delayed my growth a little bit. And then the third part was, because I was still working a lot and sourcing a lot at that time, okay? I was still sourcing the same amount of time, maybe more time, but I was not prepping as much because I did not need to prep anymore. And the third part of the year is the part where I actually started traveling in June. And so I started enjoying life a little bit more, and so I tried to work a little less. And so I was able to do this by just looking at all the leads that I had and doubling down on the leads that I've been buying that were profitable. And so it has pros, but it has cons as well, and we are going to discuss them soon. So these are the three parts of the year, and I made some mistakes, and I'm going to tell you which mistakes I think that you need to avoid. First of all, you need to find a good prep center, okay? And you're going to need to try a few. There's not a lot of things that you can do except ask for recommendation if you want to find a great prep center. But if not, like if finding a bad prep center can fuck you up, and my prep center was not bad at, they were not ideal, and this is one of the big mistakes that I made. Now, this is not necessarily a mistake, but this is something that can actually slow you down. This is what happened to me during the summer. I made some bad buys during the summer, and it was not bad buys at first, but they became bad buys. Why am I saying this? It's because this is something that I could not have prevented by making better purchasing decisions, but that I could have prevented by going a little bit wider on my product selection, which I did not want to do because I want to spend time with friends and family that I had not seen for like 5 years, okay? So this is why I started to relax a little bit during the summer and all that stuff. So what happened is that those products that I was actually selling, like one of them that actually went deep in, actually right before I left the US, was a product that the opportunity did not last that long. So it was a great lead, okay? But what happened is that the variation split from the main listing, from the parent listing, and the variation was by itself, and it started selling super slow, okay? Super slow. And what happens is, by the time, like, the price started tanking because it was just not selling, and by the time the listing went back to the main, the parent listing, the price tanked. The offer count went up like crazy, and I lost a lot of money on that product because I said, you know what, let me just get rid of this product, let me just liquidate, re-roll the dice, and try to make my money back on other product. Another product on which it happened is not the exact same thing that happened, but it's a product that I had a ton of return on, and everything looked good with the product. It was hugely profitable. It was selling super fast. And so whenever I saw that it was selling super fast, it was right when I started traveling. I bought a ton of them. By the way, before I forget, on the previous ASIN, I actually lost probably like $1,000 or something like this. But on this listing, the listing was selling super fast. It was in between 40 to 50% return on investment. It was great. And when I saw that it was selling that fast, I actually bought a ton of them. And I remember this is when I arrived right here in Belgium. I remember I saw that it was selling super fast. I was in the living room with some of my friends, and so I decided to actually place more orders right there. I was with my friends, just placed orders, I was just talking, enjoying life. I placed more orders, just called it a day, and went about my day. What I realized afterwards and what happened is that I actually, even though at first the return on investment was great, what happened is that I started getting a ton of return because this specific product category gets a ton of return. And what happened is that I basically broke even at the end, and I still have some returns that are still selling once here and there when the returns are received. I pretty much I'm breaking even on that ASIN. Like I have like 1 to 3% return on investment, and sometimes like I just receive one returns that get sent back to Amazon and that they actually send it back. That's not the only thing. The thing is that most of the returns are not resellable because of that specific product category, and so because of that, like yeah, this is what makes me break even on those. And talking about returns, this is another thing that happened that I'm going to need to talk to you about in a few. Now. By the way, if you want to know more about my numbers, I think I told you my profit margins were around 22.98% exactly. Average return on investment for the whole year, 61.92%. Refund percentage, 6.59%, which is pretty low, which is good. And what else? Yeah, profits, like close to, you're gonna need to make the calculation. If you know all the numbers, you're gonna be able to know. But yeah, not too far away from 6 figures in profit. This is what I'm going to say, okay? Make the calculation if you want to. You'll be able to. It's not that difficult. Now, here's what I'm going to do to improve my business during Q4 and during Q4 for the next year, and hopefully have the same growth rate that we've seen during this year. Hopefully, and I do not know if it's going to be possible, but I surely hope so. Especially if I do Q4 in the US next year, which should happen. The first thing that I'm going to do and that I need to do, we talked a little bit about returns. Right now, all my returns are stacking up in my house in Miami. What's going on is that I'm not in the US, and so I'm still receiving my returns in my house in Miami and at my address in Miami. And because of that, I cannot actually check them to see if they're sellable and resend them to Amazon. I probably have at least 20,000. I do not even know. I have probably between $20,000 to $50,000 worth of returns because it took like 6 months, 6% returns. I do not know what the sellable return rate is. 50,000 is too much, but like I probably have around $30,000 worth of returns sitting at my house that I actually need to check and that I actually need to send back to Amazon. And so this is one of the big things that I need to improve for 2024 that I'm going to work on, is find a company to take care of my returns. Even though when I go back to the US, I want to do some prepping myself to go back with some opportunities to actually scale fast. This is something that I need to do because I'm still going to be traveling way more thanks to credit card points, by the way, because we are spending so much in inventory. I can pretty much, always travel for free. So, and I'm taking advantage of it. And by the way, I do not even know if I said it, but if you want to book some coaching calls, I'm not going to be around a lot during January. So if you want to book coaching calls, do it before January 6th. After that, I'm going to be traveling a lot, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But I will have some days and I will need to block some days on my calendar. So make sure that you book your call as soon as possible if you want some coaching calls. But to keep going on what I was saying, the returns is the big thing that I actually need to take care of and find a company. I have one inside, but I do not know if I'm going to work with them. I still need to evaluate and see if there's other options. If you know a company that does that, let me know. Send me an email, shoot me an email, or send me a message on Discord. I'm open to every single proposition that I will receive. The next big thing that I want to improve is I want to delegate as much stuff as possible, and I really want to start delegating sourcing and inventory purchasing. Because I want to be able to, right now the thing is that I do not work a lot on my business, but the way I'm able to do this is by going deep into different ASINs. There's big drawbacks of doing this, such as what I told you happened this summer and what happened during Q4 as well with one of my listings. Whenever you have a listing that is actually suspended, or you get the valuation that gets split, and because of that, by the way, I have like $7,000 worth of inventory stuck into one ASIN right now that looks like it's actually spinning back up a little bit. But whenever something like this happen, your sales volume go down, and if, like, let's say 20% of your inventory is on that specific listing, which is if you go with 5 listings a month, it's going to be a lot of money stuck that is not moving, so it's going to slow down your growth a lot. And I want to go back to going a little bit more, have a little bit wider of a product selection. Maybe not, like, because the thing is that I'm going deep, but I'm going deep on super fast products, and so like my FBA inventory is actually decent. Okay, it's not that I have stock for I have 6 months worth of stock. This is not the point. But maybe what I want to do is go a little bit wider, and so maybe consider more slower selling products, but going with smaller quantities. Because, and when I say slower selling products, it's not stuff like in the 300,000 sales rank. But right now, like most of my ASINs, the ASINs I really focus on, are below $30,000 in 30,000 in rank, and so are selling super fast. Okay, and it's super hard to stay in stock. So the issue is whenever something bad happens, like you get stuck with a lot of inventory. So what I want to do is really go wider, maybe look a little bit higher in sales rank if it needs to, so I can get slower, lower quantities. Do not go as deep, but still have the same amount of inventory in terms of how much time it is going to sell out. And that way, I can go wider. If something bad happened with one ASIN, it's not going to affect me as much, and so I'm more protected. Pretty much. So this is the main thing that I want to do. And to do this, instead of me putting more hours into the business, I like to delegate sourcing, product purchasing, all that stuff that takes time. Because prepping is already delegated, so it's not an issue. But redelegate all that stuff so I can focus my energy on other projects, such as, for example, not this YouTube channel per se, but like my personal brand, which is not just a YouTube channel, but to really focus on more stuff, because you may not realize it, but like still making one video a day is something that is easy for me, but it still takes a lot of energy. And there's other stuff on my personal brand that I like to work on. There's also other projects that I started working on that I haven't shared in this YouTube channel yet, that I like to delegate more time, and I really want to specifically use because what I use basically to fund all those projects is the money from Amazon. Okay, and of course right now my personal brand is helping a little bit as well, but it's not making as much money as Amazon, by the way. And it would be great if it did, but it's just not the case right now. So I'd like to invest more time into all those other projects, and because at the end of the day, those projects have a better long-term potential than just Amazon. Amazon is great, but I have bigger projects that I'd like to invest in, and invest more time specifically in, which I cannot necessarily do if I actually have to spend tons of time on the business, on the Amazon business. So this is why I really want to delegate most of the stuff to sourcing. And this is something that we are going to talk in future videos as well, because I make a recap every single month, what's going good and what's going bad. So that's the main thing. I do not think I will go back to private labeling. Maybe, even though it's not really a priority, I may start looking back a little bit into wholesale in 2024. It's not priority, and I do not know, but definitely by 2025. In 2025, this is something that we are definitely going to do way more. Really, 2025 is really where I see myself actually doing more wholesale, but 2024 is going to be full of online arbitrage, in my opinion. I do not see myself doing much wholesale during 2024. Still a lot of opportunities in online arbitrage that I need to invest in. So, by the way, if you've never tried, this is why I drink when I make my videos. If I'm not drinking tea, it's all Jamaican ginger beer. Great. It's not non-alcoholic. It's ginger beer. If you don't know what ginger beer is, try it. It's great. So yeah, this is basically my year 2024. What I want to do for 2024. So yeah, let me think. Is there anything that I did not share? Yeah, by the way, if you thought that I was losing money due to the title, I do not know yet what I'm going to title this video. But no, Amazon is still hugely profitable. You can still make a ton of money with it, and you should start right now if you haven't started yet. So that's my recap of the year. This is where I'm heading next year. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff as usual. And let's get a little bit closer. I'll see you tomorrow for a new video, because I'm still releasing a new video every single day. We went for the whole 2023 year, and we are gonna go for the whole 2024 year. Hopefully, if God's willing. Let's see how it's gonna go. But I truly enjoy doing this for you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for a new video. If you want to keep learning about, and I'm sorry if that made a lot of noise when I touched the mic. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon, watch all these other videos. That was my 2023 year recap. and I'll see you tomorrow for a new video. Thank you for watching.